and thank you so much for joining me. My name is Carla. I'm the Director of Education at NeedyMeds, and today I'm going to teach you about patient assistance programs and how to find them on the NeedyMeds website. Before we get started with the presentation, I wanted to go over a few things. You can feel free to ask questions at any time by typing them into the questions section of your GoToWebinar control panel, which should be and should remain on your desktop. In your way, you can just drag it to the corner. Although you can ask questions at any time, please know I will reserve answering questions until the end of the webinar. And if for some reason I don't get a chance to question, I will follow up with you personally after the webinar. And of course, I will provide my contact information at the end, as well as the contact information in general, should you have any other questions. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. Here is a shot of the NeedyMeds homepage, and I always put that up because really our website is the face of our organization. We are a national nonprofit dedicated to educating and empowering those seeking affordable health care. We were founded in 1997. Yes, we're celebrating our 20th anniversary, by a retired physician, Dr. Richard Sagel, who is still our physician. He discovered something called patient assistance programs and wanted every patient and every physician to know about them. So he began by creating a website. NeedyMeds is an informational resource. Through our website and toll-free helpline, we connect patients to programs that provide financial assistance for healthcare expenses, including but not limited to medications. And one of the most popular and effective ways we do that is through our robust database of prescription assistance programs. Prescription assistance programs, as we call them at NeedyMeds, PAPs, are programs supported by pharmaceutical companies that offer free name brand medications to those that qualify. It's important to keep in mind there's no law requiring pharmaceuticals to do this. So of course, not every drug will offer a prescription assistance program. And when they do, the eligibility requirements will vary from program to program. One thing though to keep in mind, that although the criteria and how they go about offering the programs will change, often the program, the patient's doctor will need to be involved by both providing a prescription for the medication and signing the application. One quick thing I want to mention before we get into the prescription programs and how to find them, as I'm talking to you about these programs, keep in mind that, as I said, not every drug will have a program that will offer you price assistance. When that happens, you can always call the pharmaceutical company directly and ask them to make an economic hardship exception. So let's get started by showing you're aware of what assistance programs are. Let me talk to you about how to find them on the NeedyMeds website. So bear with me while I escape out of the PowerPoint presentation and onto our live website. So here's the NeedyMeds homepage, and you can always begin your search by typing in a drug name in the drug search bar where my cursor is blinking. Or you can begin your search by clicking on the Patient Savings tab. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of different categories that pop up under this tab. Those are other ways to save money on your healthcare expenses. But as I said during today's brief, we're going to talk about specifically finding help through prescription assistance programs. And how you would do that is in the left-hand top column under prescription assistance. And there's a number of ways to begin your search here. You can search by, I would say, the least common company or program name, but you can also search by the name of the medication. I'm going to do a search for a brand name drug called Lipitor because it's just a commonly prescribed medication. So because that's a brand name drug, I'll go ahead and choose that hyperlink. And when that happens, one of the first things that pop up are a bunch of icons. And I'm going to make this screen a little bit bigger. What these icons do is they tell you what type of support is available for a particular drug. For example, it'll let you know whether a prescription assistance program is available or other cost savings programs, such as whether it's part of the NeedyMeds $4 generic discount drug program or whether or not there's a coupon available. These icons will also let you know if there's additional information about that medication. For example, it'll let you know if there are support pages which offer hyperlinks that provide more information about the medication. And if available, we'll also have a link to drug videos, which are exactly that. It's a quick video about that particular medication. Let's return to our search for Lipitor. The other thing you'll notice underneath the icons is an A to Z index. In many NeedyMeds online databases, you will see an A to Z index for easy searching. So I'm going to go ahead and choose L for Lipitor, and then I'm going to scroll down the long list of medications to see if Lipitor is listed here. In fact, it is, and as you can see, it's actually listed twice. When that happens, it's because it means it's available in a different formulation. I'm going to go ahead and just click on that first hyperlink. And what happens is there are those icons again. The icon on the right indicates that there are support pages about Lipitor. Again, those will offer additional hyperlinks to provide you with more information about that medication. The icon on the left indicates that there is one prescription assistance program available. So when I choose that one, you can see, I'm going to make the screen smaller in just a sec, but before I do that, I want to point out right at the top in this blue box where my mouse is circling, you can see there's actually currently 3 prescription assistance programs available for Lipitor. And that's indicated, I'm looking at right here, it says program 1 of 3 right at the top. I'm going to make the screen a bit smaller. Don't worry too much about seeing the font just yet because I just want you to get a glimpse of the way the page is set up. When there's more than one prescription assistance program, which is a great situation to be in, we list them according to the ones that have the most assistance. So in this case, RX Outreach Medication is the organization that offers the most assistance. And then as you scroll down, the additional PAPs that offer lesser assistance will be differentiated by this blue box, and it'll count it down. Program 2 of 3 and program 3 of 3. One other thing I want to point out here. A lot of times, people may not turn to NeedyMeds in general because they think that we won't be able to help you if you have some type of insurance coverage, and that's not the case. Give us a call because we're working as in a country where a lot of people, even if they have some sort of health coverage, they're what we call functionally insured, meaning they're covered but not to the amount that they need to be. So don't hesitate to give NeedyMeds a call even if you do have insurance. With that being said, a lot of people also don't turn to prescription assistance programs because they think you have to be uninsured to apply. And sometimes that is the case. As you can see in the eligibility requirements section here, the person must be uninsured. But as I scroll up, you can see that sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes they'll determine it on a case-by-case basis. And sometimes, like the one at the top, to be eligible, you can have insurance. So I'm going to scroll back up to the first prescription assistance program offered by RX Outreach Medication, walk you through exactly what information is on your screen right now. And hopefully you'll agree that all of the information provides you with everything you need. At the top, and these will all be listed the same way, you'll always find the contact information. And that's really important because that lets you know if you have any questions about the program, that you're going to want to be sure to direct all questions about the program to that contact information provided as opposed to NeedyMeds. Sometimes people have a question about the prescription assistance program, and oftentimes if it's something more specific than the information we already have indicated on our website, we're going to wind up referring you to their toll-free number anyway. So again, if you have a question about the PAP, call, or prescription assistance program, call the program sponsoring the company directly and ask them for that. More often than not, they're going to have a toll. Once in a while, I have seen that unfortunately they do have long distance numbers, but those are very few and far between. In the vast majority of the cases, it will be a toll-free helpline. Underneath the section of the sponsoring organization or company, you will find the application. Most of the time, like this situation, you will find a convenient active PDF link, which is online and printed out. If for some reason that wasn't available, further instructions would be provided in this section. Very importantly, you're always going to want to check out the eligibility requirements section. And here we put information that we think is most commonly asked. And again, although the eligibility requirements will vary from program to program, they will most always be based on two things: insurance coverage and income. And since income requirements are often based on a certain multiple of the federal poverty level, there is a convenient hyperlink for you to calculate that right there. I'm going to show you really quickly how the FPL, or Federal Poverty Level Income Calculator, works, because it's really easy. Let's say you have an individual that earns $47,500 a year. So I'll click yearly. You'll also notice that I only typed in the digits. You're going to want to refrain from typing in periods, commas, or dollar signs. Let's say this individual supports a family of 3. That's the only information I would need to determine what this person's yearly income percentage is of the federal poverty level guidelines. I simply hit calculate, and the results indicate that this individual's yearly income is 232% of the poverty level. Keep in mind that income that I put there and the family size, that's the same information somebody would put in when they're filling out their tax information at the beginning of the year, the end of the year, excuse me. Returning to the eligibility requirements section, you can see this individual clearly qualifies, which is the best case scenario. But what happens if that wasn't the case? Let's say this individual found him or herself at slightly above the income limit at 305 or 300% of the federal poverty level calculator. Well, when that happens, don't despair. If you or your patient or your client falls just outside the eligibility requirements, call the program and ask them to make what is called an economic hardship exception. They do that all the time, so it's worth your time. And believe it or not, if you call and represent your case to someone that doesn't seem too compassionate or sympathetic, we actually recommend hanging up and trying back again and seeing if you can get someone with a more sympathetic ear. At that point, if you are denied, or let's say you're denied either because you don't fall into the eligibility requirements or some other reason, you can usually file an appeal. But let's say that the appeal doesn't work, or there is not a prescription assistance program available. Believe it or not, we suggest, as I had mentioned in the beginning of the webinar, that you can actually call the drug company directly and ask them to make, again, what is called an economic hardship exception. Again, they do that all the time, so it is certainly worth your time. As you scroll down, you'll also find the application section, which provides further details about submitting the application and the process. And the medication section is also important because that lets you know who to send the application to and the details for reapplying. As I had mentioned in the beginning, one common requirement is that the patient's doctor will usually have to be involved by providing a valid prescription and signing the actual PAP application. Be sure to always read the information section. This is really important because that's where we may put a sentence or two about some additional information that doesn't fall neatly into the other categories. So feel free to go ahead and type any questions you may have about the NeedyMeds Prescription Assistance Programs database. And again, that can be found under the Patient Savings tab, clicking on usually the brand name drugs hyperlink. Or you can simply do a search right here where my cursor is blinking by typing in the drug name to that drug search bar. So that pretty much concludes today's quick brief on finding prescription assistance programs on the NeedyMeds website. We do hope you join for some of our other upcoming webinars, which can be found on our calendar events page on the bottom right-hand side. And take the time really to peruse through our website because there are other, as you can see, cost savings programs available that you're going to want to check out. And if you have difficulty navigating the website, or maybe you or your loved ones or your patients don't always have access to the internet or a computer, our expert call center can do this work for you. So reach out to them at 1-800-503-6897. So bear with me while I go ahead and escape out of the live website to return to our PowerPoint presentation so I can wrap up today's webinar. As you can see, those are a couple of the other webinars coming up through September. The NeedyMeds overview webinars it's a great way for you to learn about other NeedyMeds resources. And as promised, there's my contact information as well as the contact information for NeedyMeds. And go ahead and feel free to type in some questions that you may have. I see a couple coming in right now. So here's a great question. Can I use the NeedyMeds drug discount card if I have a Medicare Part D drug plan? So when you have insurance coverage, you cannot combine the NeedyMeds drug discount card with insurance. So you can either use your insurance or you can use the NeedyMeds drug discount card. The NeedyMeds drug discount card, again, can be used by anyone, but it can't be combined with insurance. So you may want to use the drug discount card if you have insurance. Maybe you find your copayment is too high, your deductible is too high, maybe you've exceeded drug cap coverage for the year, or if you find yourself in the Medicare Part D donut hole, that's a great time to use the NeedyMeds drug discount card. I do want to point out about the donut hole though, the NeedyMeds drug discount card will not help you get out of the donut hole. So if you're in the donut hole and it's the beginning of the year, January, February, March, don't use the drug discount card. Pay the full price so you can get out of the donut hole. But if it's the end of the calendar year and you're not going to get out of that donut hole anyway, you might as well opt to use the drug discount card to save yourself some money. If you are interested in receiving a copy of this PowerPoint presentation, please feel free to go ahead and shoot me an email at carla@needymeds.org. But no, we will work on converting today's NeedyMeds brief, all about prescription assistance programs, into a video to be posted on the NeedyMeds YouTube channel. With that, thanks so much for taking the time to learn a little bit about NeedyMeds and our prescription assistance program database. Have a happy and healthy rest of the week. Thanks for your time.